What's going on, world? It's your main man, Cool, here from Polemic Peoples. You know, the people's space for the bait. So we about to get into it, but I just want to introduce everybody and let y'all hear what's going on. It's your main man, Cool. You can follow me at Al Haj HD, you know, high definition, because that's the only way to be. You know, the equation is in the building, so we about to, you know, we may tag team some in this topic, but I'm not too sure. I don't know where he stands right now. He hasn't identified his place of position. With that being said, I'm going to pass it to my left, and this gentleman right here, the world-renowned, this young man, his pen game is incredible. You're probably wondering who this guy is right now.
This intro, bro.
I just want to let you know.
Go ahead, Steve Harvey.
When you hear him speak, you better go call your grandma and thank her. Because she contributed to his birth. Because the black woman.
She's your dad.
Okay.
Introducing.
Okay, Mom, I hope you heard that, Mom, because they're speaking very highly of me. I'm kind of good with the pen, you know. I feel sort of like, you know, King Arthur when he swung his sword, except I haven't used a pen in like a month or 4. You know what I'm saying? I got that bar from Capital Steve, though. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not bad for
all right, you know what I'm saying? That's in my bio in my Instagram, which is DionB360. Yeah, I write a little poetry. They gonna call it raps if you black, though, so you know how that goes. I screenwrite. Yeah, you're gonna see me ABC pilot coming out soon. Cash Me Out. It's not that little white girl though. It's something about rude Jamaican cashiers. You know, like that. Shout out to Golden Crush though.
Just
Golden Crush is cool, but they never have nothing you want. You know what I'm saying? They never have plantain. They piss me off.
They mad mean too.
They're rude.
Yeah, they're rude as hell, and I touch on that. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, so look out for that. And, yeah, I'm a pretty good writer. Don't let him hype me up though. I don't know about all that stuff.
After you hype yourself, I love that.
What? Yeah.
Hey, man.
As we pass it over to my left.
Hey guys, this is Tamika B. You can catch me on Instagram. Tamika B. _. And that's it.
Tell her to say your chest next time.
I was going to wonder, it is the second half of the equation. Aaron Joseph, St. Louis, aka Surplus, aka
Surplus,
aka AA, whatever you want to call me. Thank you for having me. You can follow me at AjoSaintL on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook by my name. If you don't like me, outright me. You can't.
Ooh. The bars. The bars. The bars.
Passing over to my left.
Hey, Mac here. At Mr. Mac Got Us. Instagram and Snapchat. Late Night Love, all
yeah,
that.
but so you got that late night love voice.
Yo, Late Night Love is my yeah.
Too bad I don't
Clearly.
With the glasses falling off. For that dramatic effect.
Yeah, y'all might have to do one of those shows on the radio, your little radio thing about like sending money to your little jail lever and stuff like that.
Nice.
Oh my God.
Stop. That'd be funny.
Send commissary through the
dope.
little Cash App, you know, Cash App.
Right.
Yeah, they do that. Got phones in prison now. Yeah,
They
they
be
do.
on Instagram.
Yeah. Heck
Doing
yeah.
the prison swap.
I mean, not legal, not by permission.
No,
But
but
it's
yeah,
easy to
it's not
get
like, all right, hey
It's
John,
easy to get
hey
out.
Sprint,
Wait,
here's your
wait,
bill,
wait.
here's your bill, your bill's due.
It's
We ain't
easy.
snitching though, like I'm saying, hold your phones down, but they got Cash App.
Oh, you
Come on.
definitely just.
Think about it.
Hey, that's
El
common knowledge.
Chapo was talking. Yo, he was like, all right,
But
Papi.
El Chapo's on a different level. He's like a billionaire. He's
So-
on
so
a
what does that
level-
mean?
Different level.
So we
a
think,
local
okay.
B-boy.
Look, listen.
See, listen, when you have money like that, you have guards who work for you.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm
but-
saying. Those are people at that level.
Those in Ludlow, they ain't. They
No, I know.
It's a
That's
high
what I'm
school
saying.
prison.
It's a
They
whole-
good. They got if you snitching in Ludlow, I'm sorry for you, man. You know what I'm saying? You just doing time out. That's in-house.
That's
I've
in-house.
never been there.
Nah, mama's been there. They tell me they eat
Yeah.
right.
Yo,
It's just
jail
like,
jail in
it's
general
fine.
ain't no place for no.
Yo.
Go on, spend some.
He said you in-
Get that
Commerce
Sunny
is
day
worse than
kid.
Commerce.
You're fine. This is horrible.
Ain't no Rikers.
Oh,
I'll
man.
say
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Oh man, that's true,
We
man.
in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's true. Oh,
I heard
shit.
Boston get rid of so.
That's different. That's outside.
That's Concord, man. Concord a little different, man. Shout out to my man David
Shout out to
Merrick, man.
Dorchester.
He about to be coming out. David Merrick coming home, man. Can't wait to see you,
Hey,
man.
so what's the topic?
Introducing next week's topic.
Next time on Polemic
Yeah,
Ball
like
Z.
speaking on that, all my people in jail, you know what I'm saying? Free your mind. They can only cage your body. That's part of this topic. So,
Ooh. Easy,
Sounds taken
easy.
Yeah,
All right,
that's-
I'm gonna introduce the debate, and we're gonna go around the room. Everybody gonna pick their side on where they gonna go. Are we in control of our own thoughts, which dictate our actions? That in turn become the outcome of our lives. And if we aren't presently, can we grow to be in control of them? And if not, who is? Myself, my stance will be to say, yes, we are in control of our own thoughts. We are not influenced by others. And I will explain why.
Okay, to say we're not influenced by others.
Go ahead.
she just skipped over
Says,
me.
I
I'm
know.
so sorry. I had to because to me that's
Speak your mind. sis.
that's too much.
Speak your mind, sister. Go
That's
ahead.
impossible to say that you're not
So
influenced
just
by
speak your
others.
side. And then
Everything
you
you're doing is
I'm gonna
by
say
influence.
That you're right. Everything that you do is by
Did
influence.
we have a topic on this?
I'm so
And
sorry.
I think y'all both
What,
disagreed.
what was it again? I forgot.
Well,
I'm so sorry. That was so right.
Yo, she like paused your words.
Nah,
I did. But I am going to say that we are not in control of the initial thought.
Oh man. Okay.
However, we are in control of what we respond to and how long we let it hold space within our image.
Oh, I can't wait to.
Okay.
Just some specifications real quick. When we're talking about we, because we're using we very loosely here,
Okay.
we are talking
Nintendo.
about humans in general, Homo sapiens, the whole nine, right?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay.
what
I
are we talking about?
just want to
Yo,
make sure
I
that
know,
we ain't
I
talking
said
about
outer
like
space,
millennials
like,
or we ain't talking about black people,
talking about
or
humans in
we're
general.
talking about young adults,
I'm
like
gonna pick my side. I'm going
You know what I'm
Nefarious
saying?
beings.
because
So we're picking on what side we're going for.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going
Yeah.
for anything black, but on this topic,
Yeah, Isa.
I'm going for. Damn, you fucked the whole name up. Shout out to Issa Rae.
Issa Rae.
I didn't know she was talking about
Issa Rae, yo. You got to ice.
Isa.
It's
Issa Rae.
This is why she's insecure.
Stay in school.
People fucking her name up all her life.
Oh man, all that heavy body oil for
Let's learn the
perspiration.
vowels and all that. Okay, I'm going for that. We are in control of our thoughts, but I do believe we can be influenced. That's why I like the question that asks who is in control of our thoughts, because people are able to mind control us in small ways, such as media propaganda and music, the horrible music that's out. Yeah, shout out to J. Cole. Good music. Even though he's
That's
Dreamville.
Kanye.
No, good. He has good music.
Okay, I just want
But
to know
then I
your
want to shout
reference
out
to that.
Dreamville right after.
Okay,
You know what
well you
I'm
should have
saying?
said shout out to J.
said
Cole.
everybody, Kanye said everybody's good music though, so I'm still right.
But
You know what
I
I'm
don't
On
know.
paper, everybody ain't good music. though.
JID is the best.
That's
song
what
on
matters.
Dreamville.
No,
Who's better?
What?
Who's better than Jid on Dreamville?
bro.
You talking about Boss?
Yeah, Boss
Yes,
is the best.
Boss
one, man.
is.
Jid sounds like a he's dope, but he like his voice sounds like he has
Yeah.
puberty.
Not his fault.
Yo, that's that is.
What that melancholy cool or coke? What did he
He
say?
said melancholy cool.
Cool, Matthew McConaughey. So, because Matthew McConaughey is the one that drives the Lincoln, right? And he just
Yeah.
said, "I'm driving a Lincoln."
Yeah,
That's supposed to make you feel cool when you're in a Lincoln or something, right?
yeah.
So,
I guess.
You just chilling.
That was
All right,
that was a trash song because
Got
of the voice, but
keep it.
Because Tamika dived in, I guess it skips over to me.
I'm so sorry.
Nah.
She don't know how to keep things in order.
Never.
I believe we do have control of our thoughts up to a certain point. The way I think of a lot of things is with equations. You have your own ability, and various variables are added or multiplied or divide or whatever math does, and you get your final result in this place. In this scenario, whatever you finally kind of hold on to mentally, that's what you end up with. Sometimes if your initial thought or if your own brain power or what you're focusing on is strong enough, all the other variables amount to 0 or 1, aka they do not matter.
right. So with that being said, though, it's like, where do those thoughts go? Like, do we dismiss them? Do we take them in, acknowledge them, and dismiss them, or do we try to act like they don't exist, and do we let them go back into the unconscious, which sooner or later comes into fruition within our actions, and we start to think it again, That's when you have those harboring feelings and harboring thoughts that we try to hide from ourselves.
And I'm gonna say that it depends on what the thought is.
Right.
Because if it's something that you can completely dismiss, then chances are you will dismiss it.
Mm.
But it's something that you don't want to deal with, you will push it back into the subconscious.
Right.
And once you do that, it is gonna come up.
So you're saying we have the
point.
power to dismiss?
We do have the power to dismiss. It depends on where you
This was some important stuff.
all the time. It depends on your place. Like, where do you place this thought as a priority in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like an example would be I need to make sure I get up and go to work, right? But let's say something comes up. Whatever comes up, if I have the power to dismiss that because I need to get up in the morning, then I'm going to dismiss it. But let's say it's something else that I can't dismiss. I'll stay up all night and harbor about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have the power. It just depends on what the thought is.
Okay.
No?
Well, I think also because I'm real big on respecting the process, human process, the thought process, mental processes, and decision making. So it's hard for me to say like that may be true for you, but to say it's true for everybody, like even an infant or even a 6-year-old who made a bad decision, are they more in control of their thoughts than an adult? I say no. Because as you get older, you learn to be more in control of your decision making, and not to be subject to just what the nurturement of your life has placed in there. Like I'm taught to automatically refer to this woman as a bitch because all my life this is what I've been seeing, etc., etc., etc. So subconsciously I'm referring to her as a man.
That's subconscious.
But
Yeah.
huh? Right,
Like
right. But as I get older and I become an adult, like that's a cool. People say, like, if you heard a 13-year-old say that, people use that as an excuse for them to excuse their behavior.
Right.
But that same excuse doesn't fly with someone that's 40 or 30, because as you get older, the responsibility for you to be able to recondition your own mind comes into play. And I feel like that's a factor that we ignore, that we shouldn't ignore.
For sure, I still believe that, to go against what you said about children not being in control of their thoughts, I believe they have complete control of it. They just make their own decisions, perspective-wise. Like, they just, because they haven't learned anything yet. They're new to this planet, so they can't say what's right or wrong. They still say, I'm going to do this in their mind, and they do it. And a lot of times kids, like, I believe thoughts are more so, the quickest way to acknowledge them is that we put them into words. And children don't have a lot of words to put their thoughts into. And a lot of thoughts can't be translated into just words. They're translated into smells, memories of us doing something. So we make the decision either to do it again or not to do it again. And with children, they don't have those memories yet because they haven't experienced any of that yet. So they still have control of their thoughts. They're just making their own decisions sometimes.
But like you said earlier, kids, when that thought first comes into their head, there's not a lot of debate before it goes from thought into action.
Right.
Like they just kind of think and they do.
But that's the difference between
Right.
an adult and a child.
Right. So to answer the question, are you in control of your own actions? Age is a factor, is it not?
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
but then you have some
So
people
that means it depends on who you are and where you are in the stage of your human development.
Some people think they're doing the right thing. They're still thinking about it. They just do whatever they feel like, no matter what age they are.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
I still do the same wrong things I've been doing my whole life as a kid, like
Because
growing
you
up.
haven't learned from them.
Or I've learned from it. I just still do it. That's
I
my
mean,
choice. You know?
Cause
Learn from them.
It's like
I
I didn't come from. No, I didn't.
I call those calculated L's.
yeah.
Introduced it in the room.
I'm sorry.
Introduced it in the room.
Mysterious
The walk in.
Listen, I got kids. I'll be late, y'all. My bad. So yeah, it's Tiffany with a T, and I think that I call those calculated losses, meaning like you know that there's potentially going to be a negative outcome, like based off of your experiences, but it still for some reason has some type of fulfillment or some type of positive end to you, which is why you choose to make that decision anyway. So I don't know.
Right.
As far as punishment goes, would y'all say So would y'all say like someone who gets attacked constantly for his actions, like Ben Carson or Donald Trump, should they be subjected to the same ridicule for not being in control of their actions per se as your average 16-year-old who is out there selling drugs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
I feel like truthfully we're all accountable for our actions no matter what age you are. Like if
Okay.
a child did something, they still did it. That doesn't mean they didn't do it. Like they did it. It just means like, do they get a pass because they're this old now? Like,
No, not just age, but just also environment.
I was
Like,
gonna say a lot of
You know,
factors play into that.
Yeah,
You just
yeah,
can't say, "Oh, do you think Ben Carson should get a pass because he's Ben Carson?" It's like you have to remember that Ben Carson has been so far removed from this environment that he probably can't really relate. So now the actions and the steps and things that he's saying is like he's speaking from his.
right. But so that would, because we're able to humanize him in that regard, we can do that same thing with Donald Trump and say that this is how he was raised. So he's only a reflection of the people that raised him.
Right,
So
and
don't blame
that's-
Donald, blame his mentors, kind of thing.
In a way, you can say that. Like you
Right.
need to blame somewhat of his environment because he hasn't had like a touch of reality throughout most of his
Well,
life.
and
So we
That's
quantify it though. How much of the blame is on Donald? How much of the blame is on his mentors?
He's a grown man, but
Well-
in all actuality, I dig the dude because he keeps it 100. Like the dude said, came in like I want a wall, got there, I want a wall. Like he hasn't twitched with that, so I feel like he keeps it 100. What he is, he could be wrong. Like in our eyes, well, I don't think he should build a wall, but he thinks he's right. He thinks he doesn't want Mexicans around,
Mhm.
and he's like, you know what I'm saying. But he still should be. If people feel a type of way against him, there should be no blame on his mentors or whatever the hell. Like
Do you know
he's
that-
choosing his own actions.
The crazy thing is, I feel like it's not when it comes to Donald and those thoughts. I feel like it's the American people who should be held accountable because they think the same thing that he thinks,
Right.
and they voted him.
I think the people that are against, like people like us that are against the wall, should be held accountable too for being surprised that people think this way. Like we really thought that something like this racism thing was gone just because
Right.
like,
We're
what the black
400
race and
years
that- yeah,
removed from it.
Like, exactly. Like this stuff takes a long time to
Yeah.
go to not roll over, but to change. Like I was telling my man right here yesterday that 400 years, let's say, of oppression and slavery, you have to come at it with the opposite extreme of let's say 900 years of to break it down, then to have a foundation to start on. Like you don't have to
Right.
start on. There's no foundation to start on right now because we're in a messed up building right now. You have to tear it down, clear all the stuff up, pick up all the garbage, and then you build on
And
top of
build
it.
I-
a foundation.
I agree with what you're saying, as in people should have known, but those are two contradictory thoughts. You just said it was okay that Donald Trump, for him to have those thoughts because of his environment and what he was built in, but then you just said it's not okay for the people who doesn't agree with him to not realize that there was still racism and things going on. But if their environment was the thoughts that we're in a post-racial society, then they should be able to get the same cover as Donald Trump does. But I don't agree with the fact that we aren't to blame, because as much as I do believe in the whole nurture versus nature argument, I am strongly on the side of nurture. We still have to be accountable for our ignorance, and to a given extent, in our world, like say 50, 60, 70 years ago, when there wasn't internet and all those different things, we could say, oh, yeah, we don't know, we don't have access to that knowledge. But if we're Googling, like, what Kofifi means, and if we're Googling all these random stuffs all day, every day, we can have control of our ignorance if we really wanted to.
But my question with that is, how much should we require people like our political leaders, our teachers, the people who lead our communities, to be accountable for their actions? So we agree that Donald Trump's actions, part of it is decisions he's made himself, part of it is subconsciously originated from his upbringing, right? And I think it's important to decide which one holds the most blame for how he is, because then that gives us a better vision as to who to attack and who to address.
His conscious
Yeah,
decisions,
for
100%. I was raised in a really, really, really strict Caribbean religious household. My family members openly are against homosexuality, openly. But in the West Indies, that openness takes a turn when it turns violent. You know what I mean? And I've heard these things all my life in music and in just regular conversation. Does that mean I now have a pass to be violent against someone who is homosexual? No. So it's like, to a certain extent, you're going to have to be accountable. I don't care what you were raised in. You have to grow your own morality. You have to grow your own decision-making processes to be able to filter out your decisions.
But not don't you what you say that that's a skill someone learns
Yes.
to do?
That is.
Not everybody's learned that skill,
Yes.
especially in this
I
public
agree.
school system.
I agree.
Because they don't teach you to think for yourself.
No.
So if you're not taught that, then are you still held responsible for
And that's goes to say, well, who's in
your
control?
bad
Who's in
decisions?
control of our thoughts, right? Like that's the
I
whole
mean,
topic
and
of
that's
the
where
debate.
we go back to like the whole media thing,
Mhm.
and I don't even know, like the higher ups being in total control of like what they want us to
That's
be
gonna be
taught.
Yeah.
Public school really is there just to teach kids, especially in the inner city, to become robots. Like you are to go to school for 8 hours, have a half-hour lunch, sit when I tell you sit, stand when I tell you stand, listen to me, follow directions, don't ask questions, and don't think highly of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the biggest
It's
thing.
like
So-
a 9 to 5. They're
Yeah,
preparing you for
they're
the labor
preparing
force.
you for a 9 to 5. If you're lucky, you'll be a person who would work with their mind. If you're not so lucky, you'll be the person to work with their back. Meaning that either you're going to do an office job or you're going to do a factory job, depending on how much education you thought you got. So it's like the person to put our curriculum in order somewhat thought, or they mastered the way to keep a whole, I don't even know, I'm at a lost words,
That's okay.
in this position, in the position that they wanted them in, where they will be like the ants and they're just going to work at the bottom and not really have a come up.
So I have a question to
Go
everybody.
ahead.
Who in here believes there is a external God created you? Let me just ask like that.
Say it again.
Who in here believes that you were created from God?
I do. That's
Right.
pretty great.
Okay, so how many
You know
people?
what, America? Oh, we got like.
Duncan.
Oh, is this a part two? Is it part
I'm
two
so
of the question?
sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Just
I'm asking a
all
question.
up.
Yeah, don't worry about Tamika. She's
Okay.
she's Simone for
So
tonight.
we got two God
So-
believers. Yep.
So being a God believer, and I'm going to identify myself as a God believer as well, right? So if you believe in God, it says that we are created in his image and our life has already been forecasted for you. So at that point in time, that means he has filled your brain, right, with the experience and the knowledge that you need to fulfill your destiny.
Right.
So at what point in time did you
lose it?
get influenced to have it if you were already birthed with it many years before you
No,
came
I don't
about?
think we get influenced to have it. I think we get it. Like,
But if
I'm-
you-
I'm speaking in
but
your
that's what
terms
I'm
as
saying.
a God believer. If you think,
Okay.
I feel like children know everything. Like before, like, cause they come from the source.
That's what I'm saying.
You can call it God. I call it energy. Whatever anybody wants to call it.
Of course,
like,
yeah.
Same thing.
They come from the source. They come like I don't even know. Like it gets me excited talking about it. Children know everything. I feel like they're
Of
they're
course.
the untouched. Like they just
Yeah.
have everything.
They're
If
literally
they were able,
untouched.
if they were able to speak what's
Mhm.
in their mind,
Mhm.
they will figure out every problem we have. They will
Of
solve every
course.
problem we have.
Of course.
That's my view on it. Is that
Of course.
it's not that at some point we grow to get it put in our brains. We already have it. We grow to get it taken out of us through the school system, through our parents that's already
Mm.
lived, and they've already been stripped of their knowledge of it from them
Mhm.
growing up. That's why every great artist, every great thinker also always says, go back. Even in the religious thing, it's like the what do they call it? The kingdom is like we're, like
Like
you have
a
to be like a
child.
child. Yeah,
Mhm.
like that's what
Okay.
all the great artists say. All the great scientists, from Einstein, Picasso, the great artists, think like a child.
Have a
Mhm.
child
Go back to your
face.
childhood.
Mhm.
Like, 'cause-
Yeah, the
yeah.
imagination runs wild.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not sure if children know everything in that sense, but I do believe they're open and capable of knowing everything because of the fact that they don't have the
You're not
restrictions
filthy,
and the
yeah.
Right, and
limitations
that's
that society puts on us. So I agree somewhat.
So I would say that if the source has given you everything that you need to function and operate in life, how can it be taken out of you when he already
It's not taken out of you. It's suppressed.
Let them finish the question.
She said the same word.
Ali, this
said the
oppression
same
is
word.
wrong against the black man among black folk.
Listen, I love the passion with that because that.
I'm sorry. I thought that was a period in
No,
that
you didn't
sentence.
even
I'm
need to
sorry.
finish. You
was
didn't need to
clearly
finish.
a comment.
I thought it was a period.
Man,
We took a long
It's
pause.
suppressed.
man, where's the punctuation? I'm gonna start needing papers every do every. I'm gonna start reading this.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's suppressed in us. And that's why this magical thing we call subconscious is so great because it harbors all the I want to say negatives and positive. The positive being the thing that we've lost from
Mhm.
childhood, which is the essence that you say and God put in us when we came here. And it also holds the stuff that we pass off in our mind as bad thoughts that we're trying to hide from ourselves.
Mhm.
But when you tap into your subconscious, that's why all the greats in any form of whatever, from sports to science to art, whatever, they always tap into something that they can't even explain.
Mhm.
And when it comes out of them, they don't even think that it came from them. It came from something else.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
I don't think it's taken away. I think it's suppressed, and I think that's kind of one of the real foundational reasons for all the midlife crises that happens,
Mhm.
because it's like I'm at a point where I'm finally in adulthood, and literally me and my husband had to stop last week, and I was like, do you realize the only conversations we've had all week were about bills and like the stuff that we needed for our kids and things like that? Imagine doing that for 40 years straight, and then your kids leave you because they're ready for their lives, and then your parents are now sick, and so they're back into your lives in a more needy way, and you just realize, oh, I haven't painted in 20 years, I haven't picked up a book in 20 years, I don't know who I am for the last 20
Right.
years. So I feel like it gets so suppressed because we have all these obligations in the structural society that we've created, or at least just to survive, whether it's money, your education, your career, whatever. You're giving 40 hours or more of your week to someone. So it's like you have to suppress it to a given extent just to function. When you have a certain amount of money, then you have loosened up your freedoms. But when you're just living to pay bills and take care of your kids or your family or whomever, it gets suppressed. And then one day you wake up and remember, I used to be somebody, and
And tell me who she is.
and tell me where she is. Exactly.
So here's my theory on God's given you everything. So let me walk you through this. We're in this room, right? We can all identify we're within a room. I'm not gonna go too philosophical because it's
you
gonna
don't
sound
want-
like
you
Justin.
don't want to take me there.
Please don't take me there. I don't want to go to the park because I ain't never gonna want to leave.
That's
I'm gonna be that child
exactly what that
that's
talk
gonna
is.
stay. Yeah. So we've identified that we're in this room, so we can see pretty much everything in this room. If we need to like find something between the bookshelves, like a paper, we would have to apply a little bit more effort, right? Subconscious, State Street. Can you find a paper clip in front of Commerce in the grassy knoll that sits in front of the building
If you're really looking.
in 5 minutes?
Oh,
If you're
no.
really
Probably
looking.
not.
No.
In 5 minutes.
5 minutes,
If you're
probably.
You have
really
two.
looking-
You
It's possible, but probably not.
Yeah.
okay? You see, but
That's the thing with thought, though. You
But-
can like as soon as you say you can't do something, you can't do it.
I'm about to get like Charlamagne up in here. I'm about to get
That's
like,
the
or
thing
Joe
with-
Budden. Which one y'all want? Which one y'all want? Y'all want Charlamagne or Joe Budden?
I'll take Charlamagne, but that's the thing though. With as soon as you say you can't do something, even if it was possible, you can't do it no more.
That's true.
No matter what. Because whatever you tell yourself that you can or cannot do, you
nah.
will or will not do it, and that's it.
I can't agree with that.
There's no way around that. Somebody else can tell you can't do something. If you let them plant that whatever seed you plant in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep it there and you nurture and you water just like a seed you plant in the ground,
Mhm.
it will eventually sprout and become an action, and you will be able to do it. No matter time
True.
is not, because time is man-made. Really, we're talking about 5 minutes. 5 minutes could last an hour if you really make it in your mind to do so.
True.
And we
True.
can get all trippy on that,
Of
but I
course, when
believe that.
you gotta think about when
Ooh.
people are incarcerated,
reference.
time
When
delays
you're-
for
when
them
you're a
now.
kid, that's why when you're a kid, like, you don't know what a week is. You think
Yeah,
like it could last
true.
forever, or
Yes.
it can go by real quick.
Yeah,
Because until
true.
you're conscious of what time is, it doesn't really matter.
So the reason why I
so
bring
when
up
you're
that,
focused on the paperclip, that 5 minutes doesn't matter no more. You're focused on the paperclip.
but the reason why I said it is you identify the point that I'm making. You have to apply more effort. So, in a sense of, if we have everything in the subconscious, we have to really apply ourselves to then find what we're really looking for.
Right.
So, in a sense, that thought has always been there. You just need to do a little bit more work to find it. It was always impregnated in you because it's already been put in you.
That's true.
So, at no point in time were you going to be influenced by another individual to change your mindset. You already had the path. The foundation was set. You wanted to build, you're a mason. You mix your mortar with water, there may be different type of concrete. But you still have to go through the same process.
Some type of architect has inspired you. Even if you don't build the same type of building.
Yes, God.
They have inspired you.
God, the one that created the world, the
I'm
one
talking
that I'm made
about
from.
regular architect.
No. But see, we're talking
but
about.
You're saying we can't be influenced by other human beings walking this earth. We can and we are.
Do you think so?
I believe
Yeah.
we are.
Oh,
The hat
yeah.
you're wearing is for a reason.
You
God
think
didn't
so?
tell you to wear that hat.
Influence isn't not necessarily a bad thing.
It's definitely
True,
not.
true.
There
Not
are bad influences as well.
This is true.
There's a lot.
Subjectively.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
wear the clothes you wear because somebody has influenced you to do so. Believe it or not.
Like consider your transition into parenthood.
Mhm.
Can you honestly say you are the same person now as a father that you were before being a father?
I think so. Here's what I had an academic scholarship, Suffolk University, and I asked God, why did you allow me to have a child at that very moment? Because I was put in a position to make a decision to say, do I stay in school in Boston and commute back and forth and try to be that part-time father, or do I go back to Springfield so I can be a father and join the United States Army? Which one do I do?
You probably did the second one.
Of course I do.
You already made a decision in your head.
See, but that I
Right.
think that's so based
But
off.
that's the influence.
But-
You were,
That was
yeah.
a God's fault. You can wrap it up.
But wait
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
I don't care about
minute.
his kind of views. But what I'm saying is that's still influence.
Wait
The
a
fact
minute.
that you even had it in your mind that you commuting would make you a part-time father, something influenced you to believe that.
Right.
So for my scenario, when I was 19, I was diagnosed with fertility issues. At 19, the doctor told me and my husband that I had 3 to 5 years to have kids, right? I had to drop out of Howard and we moved to California where he was. And when we came, God, energy, universe, whatever, somehow got us back to Howard. But we still decided to keep having kids. My kids go to daycare after they're like 2-ish, 3 months old. Because of the fact that I have my own goals and the things that I want to provide for them. That would be in the category of being a part-time parent in your head, but that's not a part-time parent in me. That's more time than my parents were able to spend with me because my mom's a social worker and she was at the bottom rung at that point, so she was doing overtime all the time when crisis happened. My dad's a police officer, so in my head I was influenced enough to say, hey, if I spend this much time, I'm doing way more than my parents did, so that means that I'm successfully parenting, whereas to you that would be like, no, you're not successfully parenting, someone else is watching your kids. So it's like you were still influenced to make those decisions based off of whatever you went on in your life.
But the premise is that I've been created before I already knew my thoughts, but everything was already instilled in me. So it's like a robot. You make a robot, you design your robot to
I don't
function.
feel like we're robots.
I don't.
I'm giving you an example. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that we are as a reference.
Yeah.
So we're designed as you put everything that you want the robot to do, right? You implement everything you need it to do. You type it up. All right, now it's this program.
Right.
It's not going to function outside of that realm.
Because the robot goes
'Cause
by
it's been
the code that's
programmed.
put in it, right.
Right. So if I am
That's the-
created from God,
But that's the thing that
With the
makes
premise.
us humans. That's the thing that separates us. We're not. But
I
we're
already
not,
identified
no,
I'm
I don't
out of
believe that-
space.
I don't believe that we're separate from that. We're apart from the world, though, right? I believe we're all part of the world.
Right.
Like nature's animals and all that stuff. We have a.
We are
There's a
made of-
circle.
no,
You know what I'm
we
saying?
really are
But
made
the
of
reason why we
stars.
are completely different in a good and bad sense is because we can operate outside of our code, and that's the thing that hurts us
Well,
and,
what's the
and sells
code?
us forward. Our code is
who developed your standard?
right. And you're saying you got
I
God
don't
developed
think
your
it was a
standard.
standard.
There wasn't.
Yeah,
No,
what
there
if it
wasn't.
was?
There
A
wasn't.
dog is always going to be a dog,
Yeah.
but as a
You referring to a
human,
male race?
I decide what I want to. I decide what I want to be. Some of that stuff is already predetermined for me,
Well, no,
based on my
you can't
environment,
stop
based
being
on
a
my
human.
nature. Huh?
You can't stop being a human.
No, what I do
But
as
you
a
can't
human.
stop
I'm
doing
saying
it.
my
You
dog
can't
knows it's a
stop
dog.
thinking
Listen,
yourself.
my inner sea animal is a shark, so yes, you can change your physical features
Yes.
sometimes.
So there's this concept that is now like not really accepted in education. It's called like the tabula rasa or tabula rasa. Basically, it means blank slate. And it used to be a best practice to think that children are coming to school to be filled with all knowledge. You're coming with absolutely nothing,
Oh, yeah.
and they're there to be filled up
So you treat them like
with
they're
ideas,
dumb and-
concepts, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Now we've modernized that idea to understand that there's so many influential factors, whether it's your culture, your age, your sex, your socioeconomic status, your gender. All of these things have influences on the student. So we should be differentiating learning and making it more student-centered to reach those specific students in the way that we teach. This connects to the idea that everybody is influenced by something. As much as you want to say that you came out the womb with everything you needed to know, that just it can't be
That's just an
feasible.
oversimplification.
Like that is exactly an oversimplification
I think it's that
based
easy,
off
though.
of what is in this world.
Humans
Like
aren't easy. We're so
My preference
complex.
of-
I'm remember, I'm debating from my premise
No,
of
you
saying,
continue to do so.
saying that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to change my point just
Do
because
not.
you guys
Yeah,
think I'm going to be
do not,
influence
no.
you guys, because I'm not.
No.
no, I'm
And-
not saying
That would be
change your-
feeding into the
And
narrative,
with that,
right?
exactly, what you're saying that you have control of your thoughts, right?
Exactly.
But what also is that
I didn't
we're
walk
all-
in here to be stubborn. I walk in here knowing what I know.
Yeah, but we're all gonna come out of this with a new perspective,
Of course.
and you can change.
Mhm.
Like you can say something today, and totally contradict it tomorrow. That still means you've grown as a person. Because,
True.
like I said to Justin, if you're gonna stay that concrete about
Yes.
everything in life, you're not gonna grow.
True.
And like I said, truthfully to him, I still love this guy to death. I
Right.
knew him since before all this happened. But
Right.
that's true. Though. I'm not saying be open to everything and
Mhm.
just let everything influence you, but you got to be able to see stuff like objectively rather than subjectively. And I
Sure.
feel like we do that as humans. We think that we are the center of everything, and we're not. Like
Mhm.
we really are so minuscule to this whole universe. Like,
Very
and
true.
then we really don't mean shit to me. But like, we can only change.
Who
so
are
much.
you?
If anything, we
I don't
ruin
care how
stuff.
many degrees you got. You ain't nothing.
Yeah, like
Wait,
No,
how?
I
I don't care how
mean,
many reasons.
What? You got a $1 trillion? You ain't nothing. You broke. Oh.
I would say
To God
that
you are.
when it comes to influences and having everything you need, a combination of what Kumar feels and what you guys feel at the same time.
Equation.
Simply because I believe we are born with certain special things within us,
Surplus.
and I believe our surroundings, and as we grow up, we can allow those things to get bigger and better, or we can allow them to fester and die. And I believe if we add God on top of that, He allows us to go through certain things that will push us in those proper directions. Or if we let the negative things within nature, those can also push us in the opposite direction. Just because if all 6 of us in here, all 6 of us experience the same exact thing when we were, say, 5 years old, that thing would affect all of us differently, even if it's the same
Right.
exact thing. It's all based on what we allow ourselves, what we allow to influence us, and how powerful it influences us, and which direction it influences us in. Like I was saying with the equation, we have our a literal equation. You have your value, say your value is 15, and there's a bunch of variables. We all have the same variables, but they all can be different values, and that's how we allow it to affect ourselves and what our final answer is, whatever it equals at the end of the day.
right. And I feel like what we get away from as people is that, like you said, we're all gonna have different answers to the equation because we're all different. Everything's gonna affect us differently, but we try to box each other in. And like I said again, that's what school. If one person does something wrong in the class, everybody's late to lunch now. Like growing up in school, I was like, I'm not accountable for this guy. I don't know him like that. Like even if I do, like I'm trying to go eat. I don't know what's wrong with this fellow over here.
And
Like,
that's exactly what
Yeah,
everybody
against the
like
kid
to
as
do.
well,
yeah,
which
like
that's not healthy.
it's
Oh,
not.
they
Even,
don't
I'm not even
believe
bitter
it's
against. I'm
teaching
bitter
that.
against the teacher because it's like, yo, we're not. He's not me. Like I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't eat this morning. Let me go eat lunch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's corny. Cause we're not apples, bro. Like apples, one apple does spoil a bunch. It
That's a
does.
bar.
Like
We're not
it
apples.
really does.
That's a
But
bar.
in reality, we're not apples, dog. We're humans.
But
Like,
y'all got all
we are
iPhones,
individuals.
Oh.
Then you talking about? I got
You're
a
not gonna make me
Blackberry.
feel
I got a Blackberry.
You see how I do it, man?
Exactly. I got
He's
a
got a
Blackberry. So I
Blackberry.
showed you how I'm not an apple, dog. That's what I mean.
He's a Blackberry.
He's a BlackBerry.
So,
Fruitation.
but yeah, like I feel like that's trash. Like we all are individuals, and we need to let our kids know that they're not gonna be. Your kid is not gonna be you. Like, and you need to stop. I feel
But-
like all parents need to stop that.
What like
Well, Swiss
grouping
Beats making
people
another
together?
little Swiss Beats. I just want to let y'all know that.
Right, but watch when he's grown, he's not gonna be him. Though. You
Wow.
can't. You don't want to live in the shadow of your parents.
Want
Anyway.
some
We
question.
don't want the
Some
same. We don't want the
songs?
same Swiss. We already had him. We don't want him again.
Of course,
For
but
what?
I'm saying he's making another one. That beat he made, I was like, that sounds just like his dad.
I
Like,
feel like he's gonna create his own sound if he does go with music.
of
though.
course, because he's gonna obviously the trajectory in his life has already been mapped out. So since it's been mapped out, he's already going to be at this level, at the age that he's at, and be able to perfect that craft
Alright.
and master that level of his artistry.
He can get there and not even want to do it though.
Of course,
So we.
but
don't
that's
know.
already mapped out in his trajectory of life at
Right.
no point in time, because I believe that we are all created from God. So if I have that premise, if he says you don't have to fight your battles, God will. All right, God, let me sit back. Let me stop arguing with you.
Hmm.
I'm gonna give you the narrative. I'm gonna give you the story as an illustration. I was at the church and this pastor said, everybody knows who the Wiz is, right? Everybody's watched that movie. They're familiar, Wizard of Oz, so on and so forth. They
Yeah, what's the black
identify
one? Yeah.
The Wiz.
the Wiz.
I'm on for anything black, like I said.
I
so.
feel you, man. Boondocks, got you. You know what I mean?
It's only anime I ever watched. too.
With that being said, he says, think about Dorothy and compare yourself in that life. If you're walking on the righteous path, the yellow brick road, and you are following your path that has been set for you to get to your goal, Dorothy had a path that she needed to stay on. Remember that. As Dorothy had to stay on that path, that was going to get her to her goal. So she was going to fulfill that aspect of her life's purpose, right?
Are you
Thank
saying
for
who
that.
told you as a pastor?
Right. So listen to what I'm saying.
I'm
Go
just-
ahead,
I'm just-
without
I'm
interruption. Go ahead.
I just wanted to reiterate.
Now,
Yeah.
with that being said, everybody understands the story of Dorothy. She veered off that path.
Right.
She no longer stayed driven on the path of her purpose, correct?
Right.
Because she was supposed to stay on the yellow brick road to get to her goal.
Mm-hmm.
All the turmoil she came across is when she veered off her designated path,
Right.
right? So as she veered off that designated path, she then ran into all these issues.
Fly emojis.
But don't-
Okay,
No.
I'm gonna
I tried. I cannot.
Are you about to say what I'm about
I
to say?
cannot, as a black person, as a HBCU alumna, like I can't do it. How, like I said, I was raised in the church as well, and I believe there's a divine energy and there's something that
Bigger
we
than us.
define as a God.
Right.
We use that term, but how, like, we don't start on yellow brick roads. Period. You're not starting on this perfect path that if you just walk straight you're gonna get to where you're going. That does not happen. How do you
And that's
look
where
at
the
how do you
influence
say
and
things
off the
like
path
that?
comes in.
How do you say things like that and then think of your ancestry? So what did our ancestors do that their path was to be in slavery? Like, I don't get
They were
it.
just
What
amazing.
was, like, I don't understand what you guys are saying. Like, how are you prioritizing these paths? Like, how are so many people in our lives supposed to be going through trials, but so many people in different colors' lives and different socioeconomic lives, why were they chosen? Why are they prioritized? I get confused when we're saying everyone has a specific path.
I
and
think
this
they're,
is your
Because
journey.
I think they're
if you-
prioritized, so to speak, because they don't leave their life in the hands of just saying that I need to just let go and all this other. Like, I'm not a fan of that. Just let go. I believe there's a path, and it's your path. But if you deviate from that path, that's what life is. You're gonna go through. Like, life is real. You gotta go through toils and stuff like that. You can't go against that, because at some point it's gonna smack you. You'd rather get smacked earlier than later. I would hope. Because you're
I
gonna
don't wanna get
because
smacked at all.
You're gonna get smacked sooner or
God
later.
told me,
you know?
hey, watch out for the smacks coming on your left. I
Right.
said,
All right, so the analogy is that
Anyways.
if you continuously run from the bully, right, growing up,
right.
the next bully is gonna be life, and you're not gonna escape life. So you might as well just stand up and fight that bully right now.
Well, are we learning that information from nurture and our experiences in the world, or did we come into the world thinking that, hey, this is gonna fucking suck? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how you're.
I don't think that anybody came into the world thinking that this is gonna suck. I think everybody came into the world, and our outside influence is what made us ultimately think like this sucks. Being a black woman, by 13, I was like, okay, if I lose my virginity, I won't be of value.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'm told by 15 I'm going to be promiscuous and all I can do is back my ass up and this, that, and the fourth. So then, like, that brings some kind of insecurity. Like,
so where are these, I guess, where are these influences coming from if they didn't,
the
weren't
media, and they
ordained?
come from your
But
family,
I'm
and
saying,
it's-
I understand,
You're
like,
right.
the
Origin,
physical
though.
people
Yeah.
that's coming, but wouldn't that be a part of their life path too? If you're saying that it all starts from when you're born, so was Trump always meant to be a
no. I
racist?
think-
Was,
and that's-
you know what I mean? Like, what are you saying?
I mean,
There's a natural order of law.
Okay, go ahead.
With the natural order of law, things are always just going to.
Okay.
So check this out. Okay,
I'm hearing contradictions, man.
I'm
Yeah.
going to. I'm gonna bring it to a place of familiarity to everybody, right? You go to the grocery store, you get you an apple, right?
Okay.
As you get your apple, you're like, wow, this apple looks good, so on and so forth.
That's it all the time.
Y'all look at y'all fruit and vegetables like that? Like, what y'all? This is how you must have.
Go ahead.
Okay, with that being said, as you are looking at this apple, you're asking yourself, okay, this thing is here, I'm going to buy this. That apple fell from the tree after it's gained everything it needed to last on that shelf life. So it took... Okay, we're not going to talk about the GMO apples, the organic apples, okay, the organic apples, right? So it took everything it needed from that tree to then fall into some basket where some farmer brought it to, it ended up in the grocery store to be on the shelf. It's disconnected from its source, but it still has the same nutrients. It still can fulfill your body, but it's disconnected from its source. Correct? Right? Okay. With that being said, women, child givers. I mean, you're birthing children. I said that all wrong. Right? Thank you. Thank you, women.
I
Thank
think
you.
women are the closest thing to what you would call a god is. That's just my opinion.
Right. And I can even tie that in. Ooh, I ain't even gonna go over that.
But we're talking.
Focus,
Okay.
focus.
Dion,
Apples.
you can't interrupt. No interjection.
You're
No
okay, you're
interjection.
okay.
Now, with that being said, giving birth, we're talking about where does it instill from? Where does it go? Right? You give birth to your child. If the parent is properly raising their child in the way that they know they should be, don't you have a better functioning person in society? Because you took your pathway the right way and you merge your children's pathway with your alignment, because you've seen if you're connected to God, He's going to give you the illustration of where you need to be. So that means if my children are in alignment, because if the man's the head of the household and he is in connection with God, as he disperses the information to his wife, he gives that to her. You see how the interconnection is still following down that
I'm
path?
actually going to take God out of this.
Oh,
'Cause if you are the man
so-
of your house and you really are like training your
Mm-hmm.
children and your mom is nurturing, then that child is somewhat going to be set up for the outcome that the parents would want, or not so much the parents would want, but a better outcome. And that sounds crazy.
But that's what you're supposed
But
to do.
that's what, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So what's wrong with that?
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
So
I
what's
just wanted
so
to
what-
take God out of it because it's like.
But
it
what
just
you
got
can't- you
crazy
can't-
with the whole.
But you can't
Okay.
take out God. Hey, yo, God, I'm gonna put you on timeout. Okay. Let me just stop your life for a moment. Okay.
I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
Burning me with the whole Dorothy thing, right?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Remember, this is
But-
not my
You-
story. This is from a pastor. And
I'm sorry.
trash.
I like want to get.
But
back
you
to that
referenced it
too,
'cause you believe
of
it.
course, yeah.
I
All right.
think
All
so.
right. All right. So
I
I
just want-
think what he's supposed to
you believe
Like
you
the
believe
soil
God knows what's best for us, right?
Mhm.
And you also believe everything happens for a reason,
Yes, sir.
I don't.
'Cause-
the natural order, whatever. No, I'm just
So everything happens for a reason, because your life trajectory on this roadmap of life has already been set out.
Wait, but
Right.
that's if
Like,
it was
what-
never
check this out, check this out, check this out.
suppressed.
But if
Like,
but
that's if it was never suppressed to the point where you decided to settle.
I'm
Can
getting
you
there.
can you
Go
can you
ahead.
I'm getting there.
can you go on Google Maps and look how to get from here to there?
What's there?
You can, but
Can
the thing
okay,
is,
if you wanted to
Google
leave here,
Maps will show you when there's rough spots now.
That's ways.
So what
Shout out
happens
to
when
Waze.
you? It is also a
That's real. Redirect your destination.
also redirect you.
You're right.
we should be dropping gems around here, man. Make sure you tune in to Polemic Peoples, man.
I'm
It's
gonna
live
pick
from a
those up.
commercial break. www.polemicpeoples.com, where you can get all our episodes and our latest content. Follow us on all social media platforms as polemicpeoples.com. Make sure you check out our YouTube channel coming soon. We're going to have some visuals for you guys that is going to be very inspiring. So you actually meet the faces and see the actual reactions of the people with the voices as we debate. Tune in. Let's go. What were you saying, Dion?
We're back to it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Commercial break? I didn't know if we were on air. I looked for the side on air.
Bro, okay, can I ask my question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Alright,
I'm
so-
sorry. It was chance.
Okay, so you agree that God knows what's best. Not God knows what's best for us. You agree that everything happens for a reason. But in that example, you're talking about Dorothy going off her path. She never got off her path.
Mm-hmm.
If she knew what her purpose was, she never would have got off her path.
Mm-hmm.
But if everything's supposed to happen for a reason, He knows what's best for you, and He's the all-knowing, all-seeing.
Mhm.
Isn't it possible that her purpose included her falling off that path?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Right.
in the sense
So
of
our bad decisions,
Mhm.
right? Our bad. Well,
What
what?
makes us us.
Because that's also to perception, but
Subjective, yes.
our
decisions.
how to word it, huh?
Our decisions.
Our decisions,
Mhm.
innately are they're necessary for growth,
Yeah.
Nah.
right?
You don't think so?
No.
Nah. I can look at somebody's L and know I don't have to do that to
Well,
learn
then
from
you
it.
are a wise person.
No,
because
but see, that's a
most-
skill you were taught. Like I feel
Right.
like this goes back to it being this,
No,
like,
even with that.
decision making is a skill.
No,
like not everybody can
there's some-
see
there's some
someone do
stupid-
wrong and be like, I don't need to.
No,
like, I think I need to try it for myself.
Nah,
to see if
there's
it really
some
does
some
work.
stupid stuff you guys avoided
I'm
because you
almost
saw somebody
40,
get hurt.
Huh?
and I'd be like,
Yeah,
oh,
like
that was
putting your
a bad
hand on
decision, I
a
wanna do
stove
it
when it's
again.
red.
Mhm.
Yeah,
something
but
as
some
simple
things
as
aren't
that.
always that simple. Though.
That's fine.
Even
Some
when
things
they
are
are that
just
simple, like you
some,
tell
like
a
you
kid,
see people sell drugs all the time and they end up in the grave of jail, but we still do it.
But the
Why?
reason
Because
being is
Yo, bro.
I've never done that.
Hey, we. Yeah, you were slinging with me on the
Yeah,
corner.
this experience is a
People
fantastic
do it.
teacher,
People.
but it's very expensive.
Huh?
Experience is a fantastic teacher, but it's very
But you don't
expensive.
run away from experience though.
Well, the thing is, when you know something's not a good idea, you're not gonna do
Yo,
it.
there's knowledge, right? There's experience, and then there's wisdom. You have to go through knowledge, then you have to experience.
So
You
I'm
can-
about
anybody can
solutions.
get
How do we
knowledge.
get people to know
You gotta
it's a wrong
experience
idea?
something, then you gotta have wisdom. You can't just have wisdom from not
Put
doing
caution and
anything.
warning signs on
You
decision
can't.
making.
If only that
Well,
was
okay, let me
Makes
ask
sense,
you this.
Mm?
You go swimming in somebody goes swimming in shark-infested waters.
Right,
They die.
right.
You gonna try it?
Probably.
Yeah.
If I'm a
If
daredevil
I want to do it,
to see
yeah.
if I can
No,
survive.
no. I'm
It depends
asking
on
you a
how many
legitimate
people actually
question.
but it depends on how many people actually jumped in this.
A lot of people
whatever,
do that.
reservoir.
Oh, so
I
you're
don't
trying
know
to
whether-
Right.
you're trying to calculate the
let's say-
likelihood.
Look,
of
yeah.
See, once
calculating.
again, people
If
aren't.
12 people jumped in and only one person died, what's the chances of me dying?
But you trying to
that one
implement
is-
fear
I
into it
think
as
it
well.
would be worth it.
But with that example,
You know, okay,
okay,
you know the Guinness World Record for the longest person who held their breath underwater,
yeah.
No.
right?
4%.
Whatever the number is, I forgot what it is. But before that number was reached, there were hundreds of people who died trying to do so. Why did the next person keep trying? Because certain people just have that competitive spirit within them that overlaps that.
Well, yeah, you
I'm
can
not
do
saying
that.
that. I'm not saying it's a bad trait to have.
Mhm.
Not necessarily. It's some other might be looking to say.
But also your
That's bad
go-ahead
decision
go-ahead
making,
example is
but-
based off of fear, and fear is another thing that's implemented in our minds.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So
Well, no,
there-
but-
there's
Right,
danger.
that's
There's
safe
danger
there,
which is
absolutely.
real. Shout out to Will Smith because I heard him say this. There's danger which is real. Then there's fear. Fear is being
losing.
scared of something that you don't know the outcome of, or you think that can happen.
skydiving
Something
example.
something
Yeah,
yeah, something that never
That
happened.
was a
Like,
good.
Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
can't even
Like,
like.
dropping gems.
You're scared of something that's not even in front of
Looking
you
like
yet.
what-
So
looking like,
you're not gonna go do it now. That makes no sense.
Well, no, I'm not talking about experiences where something good could happen. I'm talking about when
That's
something's
great. Now
gonna
conversation.
bad is going
No,
to happen.
but
But
that's
you do it
shark.
anyways just to figure out if it's bad.
No, that bad thing it can or it cannot happen. Like there's two ways. There's no for sure that it's gonna be bad.
Schrodinger's cat.
You know what I'm saying? Like especially with the shark incident, like there's times you can be in there, you cannot get eaten by the shark. Like I can walk outside right now and
More
die.
people
If I was really
die
thinking,
from
like, any
power
shark?
falling their
No, by
head
anything.
than
There's a shark on White Street. There's a shark on White Street. The great white shark on White Street. That's 5-0.
You're so off topic.
So my thing,
Can you control your own actions?
my thing with
Your
all
own
of
thoughts.
this.
Thoughts.
No, thoughts
Your
control.
own
Sorry,
thoughts.
go ahead.
Well, okay, so back to the
not
question.
wild thoughts.
So,
but your
that's-
thoughts.
I hate that.
Excuse me, guys.
That's
The
fine.
queen was speaking. Please.
Oh,
do
okay.
that.
Oh, sorry.
No.
You guys are having fun. It's great. My thing is, and I always go, and I know you briefly touched on the fact that I don't know if you said nothing's real, but that's what I interpreted.
That was
Nothing's real, or like you said, a trillionaire, you're still broke. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So, when I had to drop out of Howard, I got so depressed because this has been my dream since like forever. I ended up being able to go back, but at that point, it wasn't happening. So I had to like rethink all of my life decisions and plans and try to kind of figure out how I got here and how do I move forward from here. And I had to come to this realization that Lauryn Hill, nothing even matters, basically.
doesn't.
And so you have to look, the way I got through it was looking at the fact that I'm wearing my one of my frat shirts, A5Q. It was founded in 1925. Before 1925, it did not exist. Just like Howard didn't exist before 1867.
Right.
So we're talking about all these different pathways and all these things we were destined to do, but
before
they're literally things we're just making up to do. Like someone had to make up the education
Yeah.
system. As you said, the public school system hasn't always existed. Someone had to make up driving a car. Someone had to make up making curry goat or fried chicken or oxtail. You know what I mean? So it's like we're literally just filling up our fictitious time with things to do until it's time for our bodies
You
to
are
disappear.
so lucky Justin is
So-
not in here. The wrong you root. Actually, I don't even know where he
And so it's just like for me, it's
You
like
need to
we're
talk to the
talking
circle.
about what's right, what's wrong, what's good or bad, but it's
Right.
all subjective. All we
we've
really
been saying
know
that this whole time.
is pleasure and pain. Something that makes us feel good, something that makes us feel hurt. That's what we know.
Shout out to
Everything
my nigga.
else, we're literally just filling in the gaps. Oh,
But I mean,
like
even
Sometimes
that,
it's harder to
even that could
differentiate
be
that, though.
even that could be
That is
manipulated. Like some
Yeah.
people's pleasure, it's one man's pleasure, another man's pain. One man's trash.
that's what
another
I'm
man's
saying.
trash.
That
So
it's
like,
literally all
yeah.
subjective. So we're saying, how do we know we're not making the wrong decisions by selling drugs or doing this? Like when you're up, like
Yeah.
some drug dealers feel a rush, feel a high, feel great when you just got your things gone throughout the city and you're making thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So that's wrong to us. We also have to look at our education as a privilege in the way society has created, because we're looking at these outcomes versus they're looking at moment to moment what I'm feeling right now. So it's
I
like
feel like that's how we should live, though. Like live in the moment. Not saying live fast life, but live in your moment, because the past is already gone. Like it happened already, and the future is yet to come. The only thing you have is right now. So
Yeah.
why
That
not
is
live
true.
in right now? You know what
yeah,
I'm
no,
saying?
I completely agree. I don't think I can agree that there's a specific path, because the
No,
world
yeah,
is
no.
going to keep changing because we keep making shit up.
Yeah, and the world definitely always changes. And with that being said about the whole drug dealing thing, is like that's all perspective as well, because the pharmaceutical industry is one of the biggest drug dealing industries in the world.
It is.
And they're making crazy bread right now.
Yep.
As well as education. That's another institution that's making crazy money right now. There should be no reason we should have to pay for education, honestly. I don't think.
Like we're sitting here saying, oh, like we still have
We're like,
people,
doing that at this level.
we still have brown and black people rotting in jail from having an ounce of weed, or like, you know what I'm saying? Yet they're saying it's okay now so they can sell it. What is right and what is wrong?
Yeah, I have
We
this.
can't answer that question until someone with power and
Where's
someone with money,
Justin?
you know what I mean?
Yeah, because like that's
Downstairs.
it's all it's all about
I
like
had plenty of him. I missed him for a second.
I can't even put my finger on like what that's about. It's just like
Like, who said it's right and who said
Yeah,
it's
I
wrong?
feel like-
You have to think about the gatekeepers in society and the bigger picture and grand scheme of things, and I don't think that's like a whole different topic.
yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
a whole nother.
So, but the thing is, at the end of the day, there is nothing that is right and there is nothing that's wrong, because people make their decisions based on what they are brought up in, like based
And-
on the way they live.
Yo, just
And
not
there
to
is no
that
right or
goes
wrong.
back
I
to
think
the
there's stuff that's
question,
universally wrong,
who
though.
Huh?
I think there's
Controls
stuff
our
that's
thoughts.
universally
who controls
wrong
our
that somebody's
thoughts and
not doing.
action?
But
Because the generation that's growing up right now is not not going to have a problem rolling up when they're 21.
That's true.
Because it's been legal from the time that they were born. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right.
That it's literally we have control over our decisions, but they're always going to be influenced by whatever is around us,
That's
whatever we
So
were
there's
raised
no
in.
common answer to who controls our actions. It
But
depends.
The original
It
thing
depends.
was thought.
Hmm?
which is
No,
different.
we control our actions. We can't.
We control our
Yeah,
actions.
we
We
control
can't
our
control our
actions.
actions. We don't control our thoughts.
I feel like we
Because there's
do.
plenty of times.
But I thought
No,
thoughts
no,
lead
it's
to our
not true.
actions.
Today I was in the
No,
teacher's
we-
lounge and I said I made all the wrong decisions in life. I could have just been some millionaire's
But you
wife.
made
So there's
I
nobody
did.
out there that just can't help it.
I was just like-
Like
why would
like
you
their
think you
the
could be
actions that they just keep
millionaire's
doing
wife?
habitually,
Huh?
they
What
just
will make
can't
you
help
think
it.
you
There's
could be
nobody out
something
Because
there.
I
like
feel
that?
like I work too hard for a little bit of money. So how come I just can't be like vacationing and like the
You
south
can
of
if you
France?
wanted to.
But yeah, no, I made all the wrong decisions.
Yo, this,
Yeah,
yo,
no.
this.
Late
Excuse
now.
me. People out
But yeah,
there,
no.
and,
But why is it too
and
late?
people out there in TV
Where
land,
am I gonna
Instagram
meet this
land.
millionaire?
Listen right here. Listen.
You
This is
put
what you do.
yourself out
You
there
know
on
what?
one
I'm
of these
beep,
dates.
beep, beep,
Control my
beep, beep.
No,
thoughts.
I'm gonna tell you what to do.
I'm 40.
Put your Gmail in your Instagram bio. Okay. Because all the ladies that got their listen.
Years ago.
If any girl has their Gmail in their Instagram bio, they're selling themselves for bread. Shout out to you. You got a sponsor. That's what's up. If you want to do that, if you want to be on these vacations, put your Gmail in your Instagram bio. That's how you find the
I don't wanna
person.
do that.
You
I
say you want a
wanna be
millionaire.
married. That is
They will
different.
marry you. They will marry you and have a million side hoes on the
she
side.
wants
If you
love,
for that,
Yeah,
you
I
don't
want love. I do want love. I do. What the
You want
heck?
love and his money?
Yeah. Why can't I have both?
You gotta pick one or the other.
It's
You don't?
Yo, Kanye made this song for us. Holla, we want prenup. We want prenup.
And I'm gonna block you. And you love
we
his
want
wife.
prenup. Yeah.
That's my
That,
thing.
Kanye made a
And he
money
loves
move,
his
and he made a
wife.
money move still in his
And
mind. He made a
has
money move.
money.
He made a money move.
Is she on a prenup? I forgot.
I don't know.
I don't think
Let's look.
so.
Let me fact check.
No, I don't
I
want to
don't
hear
think
about
he
it.
made her sign. a
Kanye's the
prenup.
truth. That's it. That's all I gotta say about him.
Shout out to Yee.
He was
Yeezy,
talking about
man.
If so, he a false advertisement.
I think
I'm
with
saying, man. I was
the
never a
whole
college dropout.
thoughts and actions just in
Definitely
general,
influence.
I can have a thought and I don't have to act on it.
You
So
don't have
that's
to
what I
do that.
mean
We in
by
control of it.
we're in control of our actions. But they're always going to be influenced by our thoughts, which is influenced by society and the things that are around us. So regardless, no one can make your body move unless you're attached to something. You get what I'm saying? So you are in control of your actions. Unless there's something psychological or you know what I mean. You
I was
can
just
get
about to
into
say that,
you can
'cause-
get into abnormalities.
sections to
You can
have
get
people.
into abnormalities, but is that how it was supposed to work?
They did
Not
get a prenuptial
necessarily.
agreement.
So
$1 million a year every time they're married. Introduction. Sorry.
yeah, so I just feel like at the end of the day we're gonna be in charge of our actions, but where our thoughts cannot just be our thoughts. Because the whole fact that we even have words to speak, we cannot control our own thoughts in the sense that we are limited by the English language or whatever language we do speak. You know what I mean? There's certain things that I
don't
can say
think- but-
in English that can't be said in
Translated,
Spanish
yeah,
or French.
right.
You know what
I
I mean?
don't think we're caged in those. I think we choose to be so. Because if you don't want to learn another language, then you only speak in English.
Right.
If you don't want to learn a form of art, you're only speaking through words. Because there are plenty of different mediums that you can speak and relay your thoughts without only the written word or the spoken word.
Yeah, I was just saying that when even our language is some type of
It's
influence.
definitely a cage, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we're caged in. I'm just saying you can have your creativity that you innately had,
Mhm.
but something also has to influence you to even
No, yeah.
communicate it.
I believe that we definitely are influenced. I'm not saying that we're not. Because we wouldn't be able to speak. Because to be able to speak, we have to imitate whoever's
Exactly.
around us growing up, and we learn how to speak through them. Like we don't even, like our first sentences, we probably don't even know what they mean. We're just imitating whatever people say off the what somebody's doing. So, but I still believe we control. Like we still we don't control the thoughts that come in. That's what what'd you say? That's what you said, right? We don't control the thoughts that come in, but I feel like we can tap into what we call the subconscious mind and really take them out of the back of our mind and put them in the front so we can act on them directly.
So, just to before we wrap this up, because I'm like real big on like solutions, right?
Yeah.
So how necessarily how exactly can we tap into our subconscious mind and be more control of our thoughts so that our actions, our decision makings are more turn out to be more decisions that we can be proud of. You
I
know?
believe that is through this is just like I don't know shit really, but this is just from like stuff I've read and like people I've talked to, like older people, cause older people they don't got nothing to lose no more, so they're really like the real older people that are like life has hit them and they're like, okay, I know what's up now. They've taught me like you just got to be aware of what's going on with yourself, and if you're aware of yourself, like there's people like, cause at all times our thoughts and our brain are telling us to breathe. They're telling us like our stomach to digest, like all this involuntary stuff. We can't control if you really want to get into that, cause there's like I was reading about there's ninjas that can slow their heart rate down to the point where if you check their pulse, you think they're dead.
Natives.
All that is like we can control that if we really want to, but all that takes is awareness, complete awareness of yourself and your body and your mind, all at one time, and just have a stillness in your mind. We have so much stuff we're thinking about. Like we're in a multitask generation where you can't do one, like just focus on one thing. That's why a lot of people don't read, because you can't sit there and look at some pages for that long.
Oh, that is so true.
You know what I'm saying?
From
Like people think it's amazing that somebody sits down and read. Like, I sit down and read all day because that's the one way I can put my mind and be still. You know what I'm saying? Even when I'm doing that, I'm still thinking about a million other things while I'm reading. You know what
How
I'm
do you
saying?
read efficiently?
I think
It takes
That's
training.
No, that's
That's training.
That's training, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have an
like, At first
imagination,
you
yeah.
have to like sit down and like read through the words, and then like after a
Mhm.
while you start to paint pictures in your mind of
But
the
again,
words that you read.
School,
The same way I get synced into, like,
school
a
has
TV
messed
show or
that up
something like
because
that.
we are reading to tell the teacher what they want to hear about what we
Right.
read.
Yeah.
Because teachers have this
So-
whole, but Shakespeare meant this when he really didn't mean none of that shit. Just read what he's saying, and you can read. And this thing, I read the same paragraph. I read the same page for a day. Like I don't really care because I'm not reading to tell nobody how fast I read a book. It could take me a month to read a book. It could take me a day to read a book. I can read a book in 2 hours if I wanted to. It just depends how well I want to soak it in. And you can even most authors, like a lot of great authors, said that they could write a book in 15 pages, but nobody's gonna read it because it's
Right.
15 pages. We think that we had to have an abundance of words for it to mean something. And even other authors say you can skip if they really wrote it really good. You can skip to a middle. You can read anywhere in a book and still get the message, if there is a message, and you can still get the story. Like good movies, you can start a movie anywhere and still get an idea of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about focus, though. Like we don't have no focus now.
That's true.
So yeah. So his answer would be to read and to be focused, which I completely agree
It's
with.
like ninja training.
No.
For me,
Practice-
I think
practice breathing.
Just letting you know
Practice
that
breathing.
You get to that.
Nah, that part's lit though.
for me, I think the way I've made better decisions is you have to separate yourself from your current reality, because especially for people that's probably listening to this and us, we're not nowhere near to anybody's top. And when you're comparing yourself to the people that surround you every single day and trying to stay on their level, you're never going to be on a come up. You have to be looking at yourself like you're always worth more. There's
Right.
always somewhere else to go. There's always something else to reach. Once you become complacent, once you think you've reached a point where it's sufficient enough to just exist, then you're not going to make good decisions. You're going to be like, oh, I'll pass with this. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can get away with this. But if you know you're always trying to level up, whether it's emotionally, academically, financially, mentally, morally, you're always going to be focus, like he said, on your decisions and what you're doing, and you're going to become more self-aware. If you're literally just looking at the people around you, you're just going to imitate what you see.
Right. Kumar used to always be like, oh, the minute you are done growing, you might as well just die. And that
You might as
means
well.
so much. I mean, because every day you do learn something.
With the
else.
impersonation and all.
Yes, that was so great with the shoulder.
That's the truth.
That's
though.
not how
That's
it
the
sounds.
truth, though.
That is not how it
That's
sounds.
exactly how it
And I
sounds.
actually came up with a way to even put that together even better.
Okay, great.
You still said
No,
it.
but no, keep it real. Like keep it that simple. You might as well just die.
Yeah,
And
you might
people
as
are
well.
scared of that type of talking, but like, you should just die. Like you're done. Like you think you're
Yeah.
done growing, cause
I'm grown. Okay. Thank
I
you.
mean, you can
You've
be
taken
grown,
up
but
enough
that
space in the
doesn't
earth.
mean-
yeah, then get up out of here.
Bye.
Yeah, like pretty much.
I feel like
You
we
listen,
don't value
when
the
people
word
say
adult,
I'm grown, I'm like,
Say
really?
I'm an
You've
adult.
come to a full developed state?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. We need more space in the world.
yeah.
Goodbye.
Because in nature, in nature, like the
Sorry.
tree falls over, like it's going. You're
Exactly.
going. Get out the
Once
way.
the tree has come to its full completion in life, what happens?
Yeah, it falls over.
Falls over.
And then
Naturally, you ain't got to cut it down, turn it to paper.
you also have to realize that you're competing with yourself. Like,
Only yourself.
I feel like
Kendrick
the
and
only person-
was it Kendrick or was it what's his name? His album was Blind. Novocaine. Someone give it to me.
Frank Ocean.
Frank Ocean wouldn't have done these surprise albums if Beyonce didn't do it. Beyonce tried to think about what she could do that would be different, and she did it. You know what I mean? She's not thinking about nobody else. She's competing against herself to level up. How am I going to be better? I'm the only one that can be me, and I'm the only one that can be a better me. So,
Right.
like, when you're looking at, oh, what's Tiffany's doing? What's Kumar doing? What's Terrence doing? You're off focus. You're not going to be making the best decisions because Terrence and Kumar can make a decision that works out for them, that if I make that decision, it might destroy me. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why you have to remain
and
focused.
What you saying that it's like it's not even the people around you that we are focused on. It's the people like through this little screen in your hand.
That
like,
too.
The internet, these people aren't real. I had to tell my little sisters the other day, like, she loved like these corny dudes like Jake Paul or something on YouTube.
I know you're right.
I'm like, oh my goodness. She's like, I wanna I wanna go to Jake Paul something. I'm like, I was telling them like they're like one. I'm like, one, they got money, and two, there's people that don't have money and they rent out Airbnbs and make it seem like that's their house. They cash their whole check for the month and put it on their Instagram like that's what they got. It's like, you know what I'm saying? There's so much facades out here that people out here really thinking that they got to compete with this person they see on the Explore page, and it's like you just tearing yourself down mentally. Even if you think you have a strong will, that you're like, I don't want to. I'm gonna be myself. If you're looking at everybody else's life, it's gonna sit again in your subconscious mind. And something's gonna be eating at you. You're not gonna know what it is, and it's even worse when you don't know what it is.
Would y'all say it's important to know your competition?
No, there's no competition. That's the thing. Like everybody got this. Like
Fabulous said it. There's no competition.
Because, like, for example, if again, since when we're talking about social media right now, if you watch the movie about Mark Zuckerberg, there's literally so many people at Harvard that he was with that was doing this internship for this Wall Street, for JP Morgan. You know what I mean? They're doing all these amazing things that technically he's supposed to be competing against. He had this wild idea that he would not let go of and decided, I am going to go with it. Here we are buying stocks in Facebook. What the fuck is a Facebook? It's the same thing with Bill Gates and Microsoft.
So
you know what I mean? So it's like
and when you think
With
about yourself,
yourself.
you should bring yourself and be innovative with yourself all the time. Think of yourself how they're thinking of themselves. Sorry to cut you off. I'm
You're
so
fine.
rude.
No, you're fine.
no, you're killing right now.
So, Terrence, you were right. Do know your competition, but make sure your only competition is yourself.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So you
So
can
know
know
thyself.
you can know what
Know
other
thyself.
people are doing and they still not be your competition. You
Right.
know what I mean? Because like at the end of the day, we can all have African American studies degree, but we're gonna do different things with it. So if you're too busy focusing on what other people's doing, you can't do what they're doing anyway. So you're literally wasting time, and that's the worst because time is made up anyway. But you only have so much of it, whatever we're naming time as. So it's like
Time
you
is
have.
money, though, so-
You have to focus on yourself. And if you don't know who yourself is, that's where you have to start. Do I like painting? I don't know. I never picked up a paintbrush before. You have to go through these different things. If you're limited to yourself to whatever was given to you at school. For example, I have no idea if I would have been good at soccer. They didn't have it in my public schools. I have no idea. You know what I mean? You have to be able to look in and say, hey, I'm going to try new things. I'm not going to be afraid to fail.
Right.
I'm going to figure out what means
No
something
fear.
to me because all of this is made up. So I might as well enjoy
Yeah.
whatever I choose.
For real.
No,
Like it's really that
And then
simple.
when
It's
you,
crazy.
make sure you try more than just
Power.
the things that come your way.
Yes.
So like you said, soccer wasn't at your public school, but I mean, that's how we limit ourselves, and then by creating fear, like we'll be like, oh, well, I never did it, so I know I won't be good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And that like limitations, they suck. Fear sucks.
No, then there's
And
these stigmas
it-
too growing up, like where you're supposed to play certain sports if you're a certain type of person. Like,
Yeah.
I wish I played tennis or some shit, cause one, there's not that many black people playing tennis, and the ones that are, the two sisters, they killing, like they the truth.
Shout out
they
to the Williams
They
sisters.
say they come from Compton. Who
Woo!
plays tennis in
Isn't
Compton?
there,
Like,
another black girl who like
She just, yeah.
There's
But
another one.
but they monopolized it for so long, so
Another
it's the same
one.
kind of thing. It's like, and that's where we're going back to the idea that you're in charge of your own ignorance. Yes, if we were talking about decades ago or centuries ago, sure, you didn't know that glass blowing existed. But now,
Right.
like, you have internet on your phone. So you can YouTube everything. You can pick up your books. You can go to a library. Like, you can figure out what you want out of life. There shouldn't be excuses for the people who are living today. I'm not saying it won't be difficult to achieve them because we have all these obstacles, like our
Right.
socioeconomic status. It's not easy to buy fencing equipment or a violin. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to work. Like Kumar said, you're gonna have to put more effort in it. But to act like it's not available to you anymore, you're lying to yourself. You're not focused on your growth. You're not focused on making better decisions. And the only way you can make better decisions if you're continuously seeking knowledge. If you're not doing that, you gotta sit down.
Right on, sister. High five.
Woo!
You're about to make me go to this very zen place.
Alright,
So,
we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna go around. Everybody say like the last closing remark, last thought that you want to leave with the people. Going to my right, since we went to the left. We're counterclock.
Can y'all rehash the topic? What was it?
Are you in control of your actions?
Thoughts.
I thought it was actions.
It
Huh?
was both. It was both.
I thought it was both. Yeah.
good thoughts.
Are you controlling your brain?
No.
Your
Yes.
neurological
You
system?
are in control of your brain. You are.
Well,
Certain chemicals.
anyways, everybody knows there are outside influences. I think to get to the place where you should be when it comes to your thoughts and ultimately your actions and ultimately who you are as a person, it's recommended that you focus on the good influences. You completely saturate yourself in it. Think of the things you want to do in life as art. When it comes to art, you have to practice it to become better at it until it becomes natural. You can do the same thing with your influences and the things that you surround yourself with. There are bad influences, but they don't have to remain inside you.
Amen to that.
Skip. Could you skip me earlier?
God bless. Good night.
Oh,
Wow.
just to piggyback on what my man said about influences, like, yes, we are deeply influenced, truthfully, with our friends and family the most, and they can also be the ones that hold us back, whether you want to believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I like to keep saying, subconsciously, like when you're on a growth process, your family only sees you as that little kid that they raised, and
Mm-hmm.
when you start growing out of it, they start to resent you,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't mean it. So like,
Don't get mad.
yeah, just let it go.
It's the
But when
thing.
it comes to your friends, they have no rights. Like they have no rights to you. You pick and choose your friends, believe it or not. And so if you hang around with 9 broke people, you're liable to be the 10th one. So
Uh-oh,
don't hang
drop
around
it.
with any fools. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle, got that from him.
Oh.
You know, see, I quote my sources too, cause I ain't no fraud. You know what I'm saying? As a writer, you
Never
can't.
the
No.
streets.
No, as a
So it
writer, you
doesn't
can't. Either
matter.
way, either
That's
way.
from
Yeah,
Nicki
there's
Minaj.
no.
No
No,
frauds. No
okay.
frauds. That's what I'm saying.
No.
You just
Yeah.
said. You
Yeah.
just
That's
said.
from
Yeah.
Nipsey. I'm calling for where I got my
No,
source
no,
from.
no, no,
Just
no.
'cause
You said
I-
I'm no frauds. You forgot to quote
Oh,
Nick. You
yeah,
forgot.
that is true.
Yeah, you
You
said
did
I'm
say
no
that.
frauds.
No.
You forgot to say
So,
Nicki
So,
Minaj.
but also,
Shout out to
also
Nicki
what I'm gonna
Minaj.
say is that
She the
there's
first one to say no fraud.
No, I'm saying she got a
No.
song out
There's
this
no
year.
monopoly.
She the
No,
rapper.
Minaj
Listen,
isn't the first one. That's,
there's
I mean,
no-
Is that the unique?
absolutely.
Smith University.
There's-
So
I'm not
distracted.
digression.
I am literally trolling this whole episode.
There's
There's too many
Yo, let me
agreement with
finish.
this. Like, I
Let me
was
finish,
like,
I want to hear his final thoughts.
You know what I'm saying? With that being said, there's no monopoly on words. I'm just quoting who I hear it from. Because, you know what I'm saying? 50 told Kanye go ahead and switch the style up. And
I'm
they
gonna
hit
put
like
my
hit
foot in
West
your
Wing
mouth.
But
Where
Lloyd
you
Banks
get
told
that from?
50 that if you listen to 50's track where Kanye got it from, you know what I'm saying? They just, you quote who you hear it from.
So this is
You
the
know what I'm
history
saying?
of rap.
I don't listen to Nicki Minaj. You know what I'm saying? Keep it moving.
This was not a part of your final thoughts.
No,
Wait,
because they
Why
try to say I
chose
listen to Nicki
you?
Minaj. I had to clear that up. You know what I'm saying?
nobody watching.
I
this
quote my
live
sources.
thinks
You know what I'm
that.
saying? I cite. You know what I'm saying? I got my works cited page. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Listen here. School yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even gonna quote this person. I'm gonna use it as mine because they quoted somebody
Oh,
else and they
Lord
quoted it wrong.
Jesus.
The 21st century, the illiterate people are not gonna be the people that can't read or write. It's gonna be people that can't learn, unlearn, and relearn. So relearn yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Because this school is trash.
Can you cite your source? 'Cause that was good.
Wait,
Nah,
say
I'm not
that
citing that
again.
story. That's from me. You know what I'm saying? That's from
Turn
me.
up.
There's no monopoly on words. That's from me.
Don DeMarco.
Boom, boom, bam, 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 bam.
I have nothing
No,
to
you-
say.
You your closing remarks?
God bless. Good night.
God bless the good night.
God bless.
That's a
and
double
good night.
entendre.
Come.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, which one you
Poetic,
going with? Like,
poetic.
where you
God
at with
bless,
that one?
comma,
Yeah,
good
take it how
night.
you want it.
Barn. She
You take it how
barn.
you want it.
My final thoughts would be,
You're amazing.
ooh, thank
Yeah, she
you.
came
So
in
are
good.
you?
Yo, Tiffany's incredible.
She should be boring, bro.
Yo, I don't understand why. What you like? Yo, she's like, yo, just. I'm like, wait, what?
Her
we
bars
about,
has bars.
like, wait a minute. I'm about to be taken on a roller coaster. I don't like these rides.
Right?
I don't like these rides.
I don't.
Get me out of here! No, no.
I love
I'm
it.
sorry.
Go
My
ahead.
thing is like, with her coming in killing like that, how don't we have our own schools, man? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's
That's what I'm saying.
it's
yo.
crazy. Like
we are all educators.
Yep.
Every one of us.
I'm still a student. I'm always be a student. I don't,
Yeah.
you
But
know
an
what I'm saying?
educator's
Oh,
a
I think
student
you always a
because
student, you always an educator.
Yeah, you're
Exactly.
right. I'm always be a student to the game because it's like I said too. We can learn from the children as much as they can learn from us. Man. So,
I didn't know what you were doing.
we need to build our own school. Yo,
Yeah.
build our own schools.
Make a face, like-
Boom, boom, boom.
I guess my final thoughts are, again, piggybacking when he's talking about your family doesn't mean it, your friends you choose, like your influences around you, yes, they are important. However, you're gonna die alone. No one is going with you. Even if you died simultaneously with 100 million people,
Gosh, Tiffany.
you still die
You're gonna
alone.
die
got
alone.
real
Thanks for
shit.
reminding me.
It's not, sorry.
Gosh.
It's not a negative thing.
That
But I'm
black
saying
cloud.
if
That's why
you're
she's in all black.
if you're justifying your decisions based off of what anybody else says, at the end of the day, you're going to have to live and die with those decisions. So you need to be objective enough to realize that what works for somebody may not work for you. And what you're trying to do may look like down upon to as a given extent. But if it is right for you, then it's right for you. And only you can decide that. So in terms of, yes, you're going to have all of these influential thoughts coming from every which way for the entirety of your life. But your actions, that's something only you can make. So regardless of what's influencing you, you need to find your own objectivity and your own third eye and your own center to be able to say, hey, this is for me, this ain't for me. I'm going to rock with this, I'm not going to rock with that. So that's my final thought.
And I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, like, I'm sorry, real quick. Let me get real close to the mic.
Oh, there's no final thoughts with this
I never
guy.
met this
This
woman
guy's
before in
like
my
Childish
life.
Gambino.
You know what I'm
He
saying?
can't get off the mic.
But it's like,
Keep
Fam,
going.
she's taking-
and
I'm trying to do the
going
soft way,
and
but it's
going.
like, nah, she's dope. I appreciate you. And you put it so simply, like, we really are gonna die. We don't need to be scared of that. Like, that's it. That's it. Like,
Nice.
we can die any day. We could probably die after this. Shout out to y'all. I mess with y'all.
I hope that you
Going on
guys
a
Can I
plane
post
in
this
5
first before
hours,
we
yo.
die?
We could
We're
die.
going on a plane in 5 hours. Make sure this episode comes out.
Yeah.
I'm
You know
going
what
on a plane in 5 hours. Make sure this episode.
Y'all gonna make me want to
I didn't
post
mean
this
to take
tonight.
it morbid. I'm just.
No, it's realistic
That was
though. I like the
horrible.
You're gonna
realistic.
die.
He was like, you're gonna
Probably
die.
gonna die tonight.
You're gonna die alone.
Yo, what?
You're probably gonna die tonight.
here.
Oh yeah, wait.
Some
One more
final
thing, one more thing.
destination shit.
Yeah, and also, I'm sorry. This she hating right here
I'm
to the left
so
of me.
going to,
To the-
say a prayer.
To the left of me.
It's a lot.
I'm not hating. You hate.
I'm joking.
Do I ever?
But listen, like,
Let's be honest.
speaking on the terms that we die alone, I'm telling you right now, I have to put this out there on the air. Do not put me in them clouds on Facebook.
Oh
Okay?
my
I
god.
swear.
Oh,
Don't
my
put
God.
me in them
Wait,
wings.
what?
Can we just
Woo, wait, no, I'm not done. I'm not
No,
done.
I'm
She's
dead
not
ass, so
done,
don't
he's
do
not
it
done.
either.
Yo,
for real.
I'm
Let's not talk
Listen,
about
no, we
this.
talk.
Where's
We
the
talking
power?
about this right now. I'm gonna let. We
Where's-
putting this out there. Listen,
Nah, I'm with you.
Listen,
I hate people
Are
who
you
do that.
writing? Like,
Don't-
is it like a-
don't
like-
pour no Hennessy, cause Duce exists. Why are you pouring Hennessy when Duce
I
exists?
do agree.
That's why Jay-Z won the battle, cause he's Duce and Nas is Hennessy. Like, I'm not even gonna touch on that.
Wow.
But hold on,
Yeah.
Wait.
Yo.
Jay-Z won the battle but lost the war. Let's just remember that.
he got tight. Okay,
Okay, closing remarks.
I'm-
really closing.
okay. Digression. Don't put me in those clouds. Throw me out of a plane over the Atlantic. I don't want to be buried in this white man's land. Mom, I hope you listening to this. You know what I'm saying? Cause they said a revolutionary they die before their time. You know what I'm saying? I might die early, so
I'm feeling that too.
you say Huey P all day.
Hashtag justice for Jafet.
I'm dying just in time.
Goodness gracious.
That's a hard ending.
Yeah,
So-
Very.
I had to make my mark though. I'm new here. You know what I'm
If
saying?
You
this
all
is the
right?
ending.
Yo, shout out to the book coming out, Missing the Mark, 2019. Holla at you. Holla at your boy. Okay, with that being said, so I'm gonna close with my premise. Since we are created within God's image, everything that He's already orchestrated within our life has been fulfilled within our mindset. So we can't be influenced simply because our life has been forecasted in a way. So within that thought, I already knew what I was supposed to do before I got here. I've already been programmed before I got here. So at no point in time, if what we make as a decision, to piggyback off what we were saying, every decision alters your route of life, with that being the case, that's just a part of the cliche saying, God's plan.
Don DeMarco.
I can go
Go
for
ahead, T.
days. Yeah, we might want to wrap it. I can go for days. I like this energy.
Polemic.
All right, I just want to end with just by saying, my stance is still the same. Are you in control of your? Well, actually, I'm gonna admit it changes a little bit. Are you in control of your thoughts? No. Are you in control of your actions? Yes. But there's like this little medium in between, where your thoughts come from and how your actions go out, where that improvement needs to happen. And that's where that's where you can develop your decision making skills, etc. I think this should so be a class, like low key, like an elective in high school, low key.
I'll teach you.
I remember my time in Rwanda. Like that was something that my director stressed us on. It was like making sure we teach them decision making skills, because for them, when you're in a developing country and like poverty is like surrounding you, and like education is like vital to you, like way more vital to them in their eyes than it is here. Decision making is everything, and there was so many like cool, engaging workshops, activities, and I'm idea popping, but yeah,
Let's put it into action.
yeah, man, let's put it into action,
True
man.
indeed.
Let's put it into action so we can make decisions we can be proud of.